Hey friends, it's Thomas here. So today I'm going to talk about power cables for stereo equipment. Now, for those of you who don't believe in cables, you might want to save yourself the agony and go watch my other videos, right? Power cables. So for those who have been watching my channel, if you look at the video on speaker cables on interconnects, I mentioned that I'm not a big fan of power cables. Not that I don't believe in them. It's just I don't have the energy and I don't want to spend money on it, right? Because when I test something, I test it to, I go crazy on it. So I don't want my whole house, having boxes and boxes of power cable just to test it. So that's why I never touch on power cable. However, if you're curious why am I doing a video today on power cable, keep watching. So recently I bought myself a Dying Audio S5.4. It's a very difficult speaker. So I had to call up my friends and say, look, I need to borrow stuff off you guys. I need to borrow some preamp, bring over your speaker cables. I need some interconnects. I need to make these speakers sound good, right? So my friends, they brought over this stuff, and one of my friends brought over power cables. Now, I didn't ask him to bring it because, I don't care about power cables. I myself have very entry-level power cables. And the reason I buy them is because, number one, they're cheap when I come across them. And second is because I don't, even though I don't care about it, there's enough people saying that it is important enough that I say, yeah, you know what, I'll just get some entry level, plug it in, and have peace of mind, right? In fact, I never do any A/B tests with any of my power cables. I don't care about them. Just make sure I got some entry level ones. I got Cardus. I got Moon, made by Cardus. I got eBay cheap power cables. I got free Monster power cables given to me, and I got a Signal cable, which is a okay power cable. Thought it was about $100-200 when it was new. So my friend brought over his cables, some cables with Furutech termination. I don't even remember what the other one was. So what we did is that we swapped power cables. And then we played again, and then I go to him, you know what? We're not going to pass a blind test with that, right? I don't hear any difference between your power cable, which is supposed to be the superior one, and compared to my power cable. So what does it mean? Well, all it means is that I cannot tell the difference between these two power cables. It doesn't mean that power cables make no difference, right? Because when I test something, I need a good sample size. I actually work with data as my day-to-day job, right? So when I test interconnect, when I test speaker cables, I don't test like, oh, I tried 3 different speaker cables, and because I can't tell a difference, therefore every single speaker cable in the universe does not make a difference. For me, it doesn't work that way. I need to go for maybe 30 pairs of speaker cables. And here's the interesting part. People might think that, oh, that means for people who believe in speaker cable, every time when you change a speaker cable, you can tell a difference. My ears are not that good. Maybe 20 or 30% of the time, I can tell a significant difference, enough for me to keep those cables, right? A lot of times, I can't tell any difference. For example, actually, you know what? I'm not going to get into brand specific. So if I can't tell a difference between these two power cables, there's many possibilities, right? It could be because their price gap is not significant enough that there's a performance difference, right? Now, I have heard all the arguments for against and pro power cable, so let's not get into that. I get it, like you have a cheap wire running through your walls, and the last 2 meters, that power cable is not going to make a difference. Yes, I heard all those before, but I fall in the camp where I don't let science dictate what I sense. If I hear a difference, I don't care. I reject the science, right? Because think about it. If tomorrow MIT publish a report saying that power cables, actually no, let's talk about speaker cables make a difference. For all of you non-believers, are you going to go out tomorrow and then start buying $400 power speaker cables even if you don't hear a difference? I'll tell you what I will do. If tomorrow MIT publish a report saying speaker cable makes no difference, we've done a test on a sample size of 1,000 people, I'll tell you what I won't do. I won't sell all my power speaker cables and go buy a $2 speaker cable. even though there's a report published out there, because for me, it's what I hear that's important. I will reject the science. So let's get back to power cables. So if these 2 power cables that we swapped, there were actually 4 power cables that we swapped, didn't make a difference, then what if I get a power cable instead of a $100, $200, $300 power cable, I get a $3,000 power cable. All right, this is a $3,000 power cable. Yes, I would not spend that kind of money on it, but I am definitely very curious, what can a $3,000 power cable do? There's a reason why I'm tying this up, okay? So for a second, I plug it in. I plugged it into the DAC. I plugged it to the preamp. I forgot which one it was. And I listen, I go like, I don't know what it is, but it feels a little bit rough. And you know what? I say, I'll forget it. It sucks. So took it out, plugged back my normal cable, listen, and I forget about it. I spent maybe 3 minutes with it, 5, maybe 10. And then I went on vacation. So I left it at my friend's place because I didn't want to keep all my expensive stuff at home. So I put it at his home. And he told me that, yeah, it feels a little bit rough. So he spent a few minutes with it and that was it, right? He cannot test it on his power amp. I cannot test it on my power amp. So when I got back from vacation, see, this belongs to my friend, right? So I have to return it. While testing for my dying audio, one thing that I felt was lacking was that my amps were not powerful enough, right? So I said, okay, I'm having 350 watt with a Macintosh and I still feel like I need a bit more power. So my friend said, hey, didn't you borrow that $3,000 power cable? You plug it in and see if it makes any difference. Maybe that's what you need. You need that good power cable to pull the last amount of energy. So I plugged it in. I'm like, whoa, it feels a little bit more smooth. But here's the problem. Does it feel smooth because I want so much the dying audio to sound good that I'm making myself believe that it's more smooth? See, stuff like that pops up in my head, right? So I don't care. I just listened to it for a while. And then my friends came over. They tried it. They can tell there's a significant difference and so forth. But I cannot. I'll tell you honestly, I cannot. The reason why, even though just now I said, okay, in the beginning I felt a bit rough, then I felt like it was a little bit smooth when I used it on the Dying Audio S5.4 on the power amp. I cannot because when I seriously one day decided to sit down and swap cables, and I was purposely swapping with a $5 cable. And this one, I took my time, I listened, swap, listen. I cannot tell the difference. Does it mean that all $3,000 power cable does not make a difference? No, it does not. It's just that this $3,000 power cable does not make, I can't tell a difference. My friends can, but I cannot. They're better at listening than I am, but here's my philosophy. If I force myself to look for a difference within a few minutes, and if I cannot find it in a few minutes, then it is not worth the upgrade. I don't care if maybe after 20th time I get the signature and I can, blind test every time and I'll pass it. For me, it's too late. I mean, if I spend $3,000, I expect the upgrade to scream at me. I expect it to be black and white and very, very noticeable, right? So if I can't tell by trying a few minutes and really trying, then it is not worth my time. Now, I'm covering it up because I don't want anyone to know what it is. As I say in my past video, right? When you make a positive comment on a product, it doesn't do much. But when you make a negative comment on a product, it's 10 times the impact, right? So I'm sorry that, for those who are a true believer in power cables, I'm not validating your point. But I did want to be honest about it, like, my actual experience. That's the whole point of my whole channel, right? Somebody with a cell phone recording and just yapping, and just want to give my honest experience about it. So doesn't mean that I don't believe in power cables, because this is like the 6th, 7th power cable that I try. I need a big sample size. I need to try at least 30 power cables, 40 power cables before I can draw a conclusion. My friends did bring over other $3,000 power cable, but unfortunately I was very busy, so I didn't get a chance to try. They were in my basement testing. Yeah, they found a difference and so forth. Maybe one day when I do find a difference, I'll make another video on it. But for now, I'm just making this video simply because I got my hands on a $3,000 power cable and I wanted to share it. I'm really curious. What the hell, right? So yeah, guys, no comments like, you know, power cable makes no difference, and then somebody argues yes and so forth. There's no point, right? It's just silly fun here. All right, till next time.